Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm an IELTS teacher here at Global Village, Vancouver. And today I'd like to show you how to succeed on the academic module of the IELTS exam, and this is for writing task 1. In this part of the exam, you'll be given a diagram of some kind. It might be a line graph, or it might be a pie chart, or it might be a bar chart or a table. And you will be asked to write a report of what you see in the diagram, a report of the main features and the main trends that are given in the diagram. So I've got an example here for you. This diagram, we have a line graph and a pie chart, and they show the demand for electricity in England during winter and summer. And they also show what the electricity is used for. So you'll be expected to write 150 words about this diagram, a report that describes the main features and the main trends shown in the diagram. So now I'd like to give you some helpful tips that will make writing the report a little bit easier for you and get you a better grade. So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is you need to give data. You need to give data or numbers to support your description. That's very important because if you don't give data, you will lose marks for that. So give numbers. If you say something increased or it decreased, you need to say from what to what. It increased by how much. Give numbers to support your description. The second thing you need to do is to write a separate, what's called a summary section or an overview of the main trends or features. So in the diagram I showed you just a minute ago, the main features would be that the demand for electricity in England is much higher in the winter than it is in the summer. And it would also say that most of the electricity is used for some kind of heating. So you need to include those bits of information in your summary section. It's very important. Summarize the information. Next thing that's very, very important is to organize your report with paragraphing of some kind. It sounds like a small thing, but leave spaces between your paragraphs. The examiners like to see space. They like to see that you've organized your ideas in some logical manner, and that will help your mark. So do organize your essay with paragraphs. And the last thing, this is a minor thing, but also very important, you should use the correct verb tense. So very often the diagrams will give you a date. It might be 2008, for example. In that case, you need to use the simple past tense. If there is no date given, you can use the simple present tense. But look carefully at the date and make sure that you're using your verb tenses correctly throughout the report. So let me tell you a few things that you should avoid when you're writing this task. There's some basic mistakes that you can avoid. The first thing is do not give your interpretation of the information and don't try and give your opinion about it. This is a report. The IELTS people do not want your interpretation of it or your opinion. They want a report about what you see. They want the facts only. Okay, so it's a report, not an essay. Second thing to remember is don't focus too heavily on small details. This can be especially true with line graphs where you often see a lot of small changes. Don't worry about those. Don't focus on little details. Focus on describing the overall trends and the most important features. Do not get stuck on details or you will lose marks for that. Another thing to keep in mind is to avoid what's called a mechanical description of the features. Do not just give a list of numbers in your description. You should also learn to say something meaningful about what you see. For example, you could say that the numbers tripled or the numbers doubled, or boys were twice as likely to be involved in certain activities as girls. But say something meaningful, but don't give a mechanical list of numbers because again, you will lose marks for that. The final thing to keep in mind is that you should not spend too long on this essay. The IELTS people recommend 20 minutes to write this essay. Sometimes it can take a little longer. Sometimes you might finish up early, but try not to take too long because you have a second essay to write and they tell you to spend 40 minutes on that. So try not to spend too long on task 1 and sacrifice your time on task 2.